What is going on YouTube? It's the Fantasy Professor here, back again with a brand new video. As you can see, it's still November 5th, and what time is it? November 5th, 11 o'clock, and I wanted to make this video for you guys so you can prepare early for tomorrow, for those of you that like being prepared on time. Not procrastinating things like me, because with my assignments, I tend to procrastinate. So don't do that. Prepare just how I am now, and let me just break down. Shit. There goes my fucking marker. My annual marker drop every single fucking video. Anyway, let's get started. So to recap from tonight's games just finished. The Milwaukee and Sacramento game just ended. To recap, these are some of the guys that I picked. Now, I put in almost $30 worth of lineups today, and I walked away with only two. And that's for a few reasons. Guys not living up to expectations and not seeing these strange guys like Garrett Temple over here coming in, winning the entire GPP just out of nowhere. Who would even pick him in a GPP? He's not even worthy of consideration, but we'll get into why his massive total is like that. So Joel Embiid, 41.5 fantasy points. I watched that whole game down to the last minute, and it was so close. It was a 1-point game, but on the last 5 possessions for Philly, they kept on turning the ball over and over and over again. They had that game in the bag, but I don't know what happened. Things happen, you know. Next guy I like, James Harden, 65.75. He just demolished them tonight. He was just that all-around player. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. They lost to the Hawks tonight. I don't know why I just said that, but he still put up that gaudy stat line, fantasy-wise. LeBron James, 59.5 fantasy points. Back-to-back 50-plus point fantasy performances for LeBron, so good for him. Philly usually plays tough at home. I don't know why. I saw them last year play the Cavs, and they were pretty well, but they didn't have Kyrie and LeBron in that game, and they still beat the Cavs at home. So they're pretty tough when it comes to, like, last year as well. If you saw that Golden State versus Sixers game, that almost went into OT, but Harrison Barnes obviously hit that game winner, and the rest is history. Ish Smith, a guy that I strongly recommended, 33 fantasy points. He was only 8% owned. Again, you guys should be listening to my videos because I'm picking out guys that I use and some of the tools that I use that I see that are going to be wide open for you guys to take advantage of when GPP times come. Another guy I like is Dwight Howard, 48 fantasy points in his revenge game against James Harden. They blew out the Rockets. But Harden still managed to put up 65 fantasy points. Like I said earlier in my previous video, Dennis Schroeder sucks on defense. You can see why here. Every single point guard just exploding on him. So you always use point guards against Dennis Schroeder because he can't defend for shit, and that's just the reality of it. Sergio Rodriguez, 34. I said he was going to do good against Kyrie, and what happened? He did pretty decent at that 5K price range. Another guy I chose, Andre Drummond, 53 fantasy points. He had that strong game tonight, so good for him. Wait, is he playing tomorrow? No, he's not playing tomorrow, so forget that. Paul Millsap, 53.25. He was an animal going up against Ryan Anderson, who can't play D for shit. But that's why I also mentioned him because what's his name? Ryan Anderson is one of the worst power forward defenders in the entire league. So he's definitely up there with the top 5 worst. And even the scrubs, some scrubs are better defenders than him. All he does is shoot from 3. He's like an offensive Kevin Love that just stands on the 3-point line. You know what? No, because he doesn't get any rebounds. Only Kevin Love. Kevin Love gets boards, outlet passes, and 3-pointers, and Ryan Anderson just stands on the 3-point line. That's it. That's all he does. But he's still pretty good at it. There's nothing bad about that. So that recaps tonight's games. I didn't win a lot of money. I lost all my entries, so now I'm going to have to put in some more. But in the meantime, I wanted to go ahead after the games ended to make this new slate breakdown for you guys. So starting off with the first game, you got Utah at New York, 191 over-under. Some guys I like in that game, George Hill going up against Derrick Rose defense. Like I've said in the past, always target point guards against Derrick Rose because Derrick Rose can't guard for his life. 6,400, he's at a great price, and I went back and I looked at his minutes, and he's playing consistent 30-minute games. So if you're that minutes guy for production purposes, you should target George Hill. Another guy I like is Rudy Gobert, 6,900. Now, even though Joakim Noah went off against the Bulls, I felt like that was just because it was a homecoming of sorts. So I feel like Gobert is going to come in and just destroy him and destroy the entire team. I feel like it's going to be another blowout by the Jazz. You can see the over-under is very low. So they're going to guard New York pretty tight. But there are some holes, and I'll tell you in a second. Courtney Lee, 3,800. Last game he had 26 fantasy points, and he played 41 minutes. So his minutes are locked in, okay? He's going to get a consistent, I would say, like a bare minimum, he's going to get 25 minutes with a high ceiling, that 41 minute. But he's usually in that 40-minute range because New York does not have a lot of shooting guard depth. They have him, Justin Holiday, and a few other guys. Sasha Vujacic as well. Him and the only other guy I like on that team is Carmelo because of his price, 7,100. I feel like he's very, very cheap compared to last year when he was in that 8-9K range because he's an elite player. He just is waiting for that breakout game, and if the time comes right, I saw what Kawhi Leonard did to the Jazz the other night. So small forward is very weak. I looked on Draftkings, and they're guarding the position, and they're last in the league. Joe Johnson is an awful defender. So if Gordon Hayward comes back for this game, everything might change, and I might fade Melo a little bit, maybe pick up some Hayward, but he would be limited in that respect. Next game, we got Portland and Memphis. 209 over-under. There's a few guys I like in this game, especially Marc Gasol at 7,000. Sacramento, wait. Oh, wait, no. I was getting confused with the games. Portland is coming off a back. No. Wait, who played today? Did they play today? No, I'm sorry. Forgive me. These two guys did not play at all today, so forget whatever I said. Marc Gasol going up against the likes of Mason Plumlee, Myers Leonard, Ed Davis. He's going to smoke them, and I feel like now he's healthy. He's almost 100% coming off that broken foot a few months earlier. But he's back. He's ready. 7,000 seems very, very underpriced for him. I like him a lot. It might be too high because of the minutes. I don't know if he'll get a certain amount of minutes, but we'll see what happens with him. Also, another guy, Zach Randolph, 5,400. He's going to play at least 24 to 28 minutes in this game. I feel like, especially 5,400, he should eat up their team defensively. Festus Ezeli, no, he's not playing. Myers Leonard, Mason Plumlee, Ed Davis, Al Farouq Aminu, Mo Harkless, Evan Turner. Those guys are not going to stop Zach Randolph at all. Zach Randolph, if you want to say this is a revenge game, I think he did play for the Portland Trailblazers. I'm not sure. You might have to fact check that. But 5,400, he's a great price. On the flip side, you got Damian Lillard, 9,600. He's your elite play every single night. And I like targeting him against the Grizzlies because Mike Conley will not be playing tonight. As of right now, that's what I heard. So if that was the case, maybe you want to target on Memphis' side a guy like Wade Baldwin IV because they're going to need someone to step up and pick up those point guard duties. All right, C.J. McCollum as well, 6,800. He had a horrible, horrible game against Dallas recently. He only had 18 fantasy points in that game, but I feel like this is a great spot for him to come back and dominate the Memphis Grizzlies. All right, that's done for that game. Next game, we got Sacramento and Toronto. At this time, I did not find it over-under, so if you want to go check, just Google, and they'll give you the spreads on every single game tonight. So on the Kings side, starting off, we got Kristapis, 3,200. He's at the very bare minimum, as well as Garrett Temple. I'll get into him in a second. Kristapis is going to play a lot of minutes, and I don't feel like DeMarcus Cousins on a back-to-back is going to play as much. So you might want to target guys on the contrary. Instead of Cousins, use Willie Cauley-Stein and Kristapis. Kufos is the cheaper one, obviously 3,200. He's playing a lot of minutes, and sometimes he starts. So I was looking at his log, and he's been very consistent. So if you like consistency, go right ahead, put him in. Now, Garrett Temple, bare minimum 3,000. He about 36.75 fantasy points, and nobody saw that coming. He was 0.1% owned in the big GPP lineup tonight, and that lineup ended up winning. Why? Because you have guys like him that nobody picks at all, nobody wants, that go off. So I'm trying to give you guys some guys for cash and GPP terms. I mean, guys like Barnes, nobody wants Barnes, but I'll tell you why I'm on the Barnes train. So that covers the Kings side. I don't really like anyone else outside of that. Ty Lawson had a horrible game, which means that Garrett Temple is probably in line for a lot more minutes, especially on a back-to-back. On the flip side, there's a few guys I like, and I feel like Toronto's going to blow Sacramento out of the water. But if it turns into a blowout, we'll say a few other names. Demar Derozan has been on an absolute tear. 8,300. He's just at all scoring. He doesn't really have all those other intangibles. But at 8,300, he's going to get you 30 actual points with that 40 to 50 point fantasy point upside. So he's a lock and load right there. You know he's going to get 15 to 20 shots in per game. He's going to go to the foul line. He's going to get you those free throws. So he's pretty safe bet. If anyone is the safest shooting guard on the slate, it's him. So don't hesitate to put him into your lineups. I know some fantasy guys do not want to put him in because they feel like he's going to drop off eventually. But if you look at this Sacramento roster, who's going to stop him? Ben McLemore? No, nobody's going to stop him. Another guy like Kyle Lowry, 7,700. Garrett Temple's a horrible defender. All Sacramento point guards are usually horrible. Rondo was pretty bad. But Kyle Lowry, 7,700. He's been playing consistent 35-plus minutes every single game. So I like targeting him against Sacramento Kings. At the flip side, Jonas Valanciunas, 6,600. I feel like he's going to go overlooked tonight. People are going to think, Cousins is going to be in the middle. Joe Val's not going to do anything. But I have a lot of confidence in him. And he's been getting more playing time compared to previous years, which means that he's going to give in that production. Even if he's not scoring right away, he's the third option on their team, and he's going to get you those rebounds, those putbacks, those hooks. You know, he does a lot of intangibles, so I like him a lot in this spot, especially DeMarcus is the power forward, and Kufos or Willie Cauley-Stein is the center. Valanciunas will smoke him. DeRozan will just feed the post, and he'll just go to work. All right, the fourth game on the slate, we got Milwaukee and Dallas, 201 over/under. A few guys I like in this game, Giannis Antetokumpo, 9,700. He's coming on a back-to-back, but, you know, he's, 20, 21 years old. He's a kid. He's going to be fine. Unless he was injured, I would be concerned. But this guy is the Greek freak. He is an animal. He's going to smoke Dallas, no doubt. Especially if Darren Williams is not in this game. Jabari Parker as well. I like him. 5,900. I feel like that's very, very low. I used to play him a lot last year when he was giving me those consistent double-doubles. He can be 18 and 10 every single game. So I really like him. I haven't lost any faith in him, even though some DFS experts have. I like him. I feel like it's a great spot going up against Dwight Powell because Dirk will not be playing in this game. Also, another guy I like, Greg Monroe. 5,700. Sorry, my bad. 5,700 and going up against Salah Medri, Andrew Bogut. If Bogut's sitting, I feel like Greg Monroe is going to be in with the bench. So I feel like he's going to go to work and smoke Dallas. On the flip side, I like Harrison Barnes, 5,900 if you want to go contrarian to Jabari Parker because they're both considered small forwards on DFS. But Parker naturally is a power forward, so you can stack them both if you want. Harrison Barnes, 5,900. They pay this man $94 million. Again, I've stressed this in every single video. They paid him $94 million not to play like shit the rest of his Dallas Mavericks days. He's going to play, and he's going to earn that contract. They saw star potential in him, and I watched him coming out of high school and college. He's an animal, and he just is an all-star waiting to happen. It might not be this year, but a few years down the line, he can turn the Mavericks into a contender, especially with a coach like Rick Carlisle, who loves to craft teams and take value and talent out of people that they didn't even know they had. But he brings the best out of every single player, and I like him. He should win Coach of the Year every year. He's a great, great coach. And he's dragged horrible teams to the playoffs multiple times. Just like last year. They were so bad. They were like the 8th seed in the – or no, they weren't the 8th seed. They're like the 7th or 6th. I don't know how. Anyway, 5,900. Dirk's not playing this game. Dwight Powell, 4,100. He might be your value play of the night. If Garrett Temple's not starting, if he is starting, he is by far the play of the night. I just don't know how he'll be against Kyle Lowry. That's why I'd be a little hesitant. So I might not say he's the value play of the night. But he's going to get the minutes. Those minutes are set. They don't have any other point guards. So besides him and Lawson, Darren Collison's still suspended, as you know. But Dwight Powell, 4,100, really intrigues me. Especially when Dirk was out last year. He was just a fantasy beast. He would give me 35 fantasy points, 38 fantasy points. He was just an animal, especially I feel like he's been in the league for 2 or 3 years now. I think I'll have to look that up later. But he's going to get you that consistent production, and I like him a lot in this spot. JJ Barea, 5,500. Seth, you could also use Seth Curry as well, but I don't think he's going to get the amount of playing time as JJ Barea. I feel like he's going to get starters minutes tonight with Seth Curry backing him up at the point guard, because I don't think Darren Williams will be playing in this game. With that being said, at 5,500 is a great price, especially if you look back a few weeks ago. I didn't use him at the time, but he had those like 30 plus fantasy point outbursts. So he's a great play, and he's a great look for tonight. All right, 5th game on the slate, you got Denver and Boston, 210 over under. A few guys I like on this team. Danilo Gallinari, 5,800. He was involved in some trade rumors last year, actually with the Boston Celtics, with that Brooklyn Nets pick. And they were debating what they wanted to do with him. They almost traded for Gallinari. That's what I read an article a few weeks ago. I like Gallinari a lot. He's one of the best international players in the NBA currently today. At 5,800, he's a great price going up against the rookie Jaylen Brown because Jay Crowder will be out today. So if you want to go for a GVP, he's my sneaky play of the night. I like Danilo Gallinari. His minutes are there. He's getting roughly around 35, 36 minutes a night. So great look as well. But he's coming off a back-to-back, so you might want to be a little hesitant. Another guy that smoked most of my lineups tonight, as well as these two were in the same winning lineup tonight. Wilson Chandler, 4,700. He just blew my lineups out of the water. What do you have, like 31 fantasy points, I think? Yeah, he's definitely a guy worthy of consideration, so I didn't want to leave him out there. If you want to do the Nurkic-Jokic thing, by all means do so. Going up against the likes of Amir Johnson and Tyler Zeller, those guys don't scare me a bit. So I like this tandem quite a bit tonight. If you wanted to stack them, by all means, go right ahead. On the flip side, you got a lot of guys on Boston's side. As you can see, as we get into the higher over-under totals, I like to stack these games, and I'll tell you why. Jaylen Brown, 4,000. If you guys heard previously, 4,000, I told you was a great price for a guy that was only 3,300 last game. What happened? He dropped a 30 fantasy point game, and he had like 7-8 times his value. So these are the guys like him that you need to play, especially going up against Gallinari on the back-to-back. So I don't like Gallinari as much now going up against Jaylen Brown because he's on a back-to-back. I just flipped what I just said. I know, but I'm trying to think. Jaylen Brown is a decent defender, but he's also a rookie, so I don't know how he'll be defensively. But he did pretty well against LeBron. So, he's getting banged up a little bit with the bigger guys, but I like Jaylen Brown. I always liked him. 4,000, he's definitely a guy to consider. Another guy, Amir Johnson, 4,400. I don't know if these two guys are the best defenders, but I know what they can do in offense and the boards. So I don't know if he's going to get a lot of rebounds. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of points because of them defensively, if they're good. I don't know. I don't really watch a lot of the Nuggets games. But what I know fantasy-wise and what I looked at with the logs today, 4,400 is it's like a so-so price for Amir. But I didn't want to leave him out just in case he goes off for some reason and they want to, use him immensely. Another guy, one of the main focal points of the Celtics offense is Isaiah Thomas, 7,500 going up against Emmanuel Mudiay, who probably will play, but he's coming off a back-to-back, so I don't know if he'll be 100%. These back-to-backs kill these guys. So he's well-rested. I think he's ready to go, and fire him up at all costs. Another guy I'd be cautious of is Avery Bradley, 6,000. By far, he's the most consistent player in today's game. he is consistently put up at least 25 fantasy points in every single game. But he's also having that shoulder injury, but it didn't give me any doubt last game. I fired him up versus the Cavs, but people were a little hesitant about him. I wasn't, and what happened? He's very, very consistent. Brad Stevens did not limit his playing time, but as you can see, he still has that right shoulder or left shoulder, I don't know. He has that bandage like over because it's obviously really sore, and he's having a lot of problems with. So he's not at 100%, so I'm not, 6,000 might be a little high, but he's very, very consistent. So if you're one of those guys that likes consistency, definitely take a shot at him. All right, the best game on the slate, Phoenix and the Lakers. What happened last game? What happened? Who said that the Lakers were going to win? This guy. This guy predicted that the Lakers were going to blow out the Warriors. The day before it actually happens, and what happened? Same thing 2 years in a row. The Lakers blew them out of the water. I don't know how, if they're beating the Warriors like that, why can't they be like one of the top 4 teams in the West? Who says they're not going to be a playoff team this year? A lot of people. Everyone predicts they're going to have like 20 wins. I could see them winning 30. I mean, that might be a stretch, but with these guys and what they did to the Golden State Warriors, it just proves that they're not ready defensively yet. But I feel like down the line, Golden State's going to be a defensive juggernaut. So they're not even the best defense in the league. I forgot. Maybe it's like San Antonio or the Utah Jazz. I don't know. But it's insane. 218 over-under. Eric Bledsoe is the first guy I like. 7,000 because he's going up against D'Angelo Russell. Again, one of the worst defenders in the league. I like his spot a lot. I would stack this game. Easily. If you wanted a game stack this game, obviously the over-under tells you why. This is going to be a high-scoring affair. A lot of fantasy points and value to go around. Eric Bledsoe, 7,000, great price, going up against, you just heard. Devin Booker, 6,100. He has that toe injury, but the minutes are there. They are set. They are locked in, and he's just going to, I feel like he's going to be putting up a 30 to 35 fantasy point game. That's my prediction, or more. So I feel like that's his floor with the upside of 50 to 60 tonight. Going up against Jordan Clarkson, Lou Williams, Nick Young, he's going to smoke him. Just watch and see. That's my prediction of the night. I still feel like the Lakers are going to win this game because they're playing a lot better. TJ Warren, 6,700. If you wanted to stack all 3 Suns, I wouldn't hesitate doing that. That's what I'm probably going to do in one of my lineups. So you might as well want to. 6,700. He is the leading candidate for the most improved player. I didn't even know who he was, but fantasy-wise, he's just a beast. His price is still climbing every single day, but his production is there. He's very consistent. He's the leading scorer on their squad, so hopefully he can lead Phoenix to a few more wins this year. Who knows? On the flip side, you got D'Angelo Russell, 6,500. Now, he's in a little bit of a tougher matchup against Eric Bledsoe. As I said before, Eric Bledsoe reminds me of a mini LeBron James. So he's going to give you a lot of defense on Russell, but as we've seen before, D'Angelo Russell likes to prove a lot of people wrong. I like him. I love him. No, I don't like him. I love him in the spot because he's coming off that game, and he's going to lead his team to a good victory tonight. Julius Randle, 6,200, going up against the likes of Marquise Chris, Jared Dudley, who's one of the worst power forward defenders in the league, as well as Alex Len down low and Tyson Chandler. So Randle is in a great spot. Luke Walton, I just I heard an interview the other day that Luke Walton wants to start using Julius Randle and turn him into Draymond Green. So he wants to mimic this Lakers roster as if it's the Warriors. So as you saw last night, 2 nights ago, that's definitely possible. Randle is just an animal. He was everywhere. Getting putbacks, getting back in transition, running the floor. I mean, there's no reason not to like him. And at 6,200, he can easily give you 7-8x. By far on any given night, especially this night, starting with Jared Dudley and then going up against Marquise Chris. Dragon Bender is another guy to consider, but he's the number 4 overall pick, but I feel like down the line he's going to be a bust, just like Anthony Bennett was, because he's so high, and he's not getting the right playing time yet. The only other Laker I like tonight, Jordan Clarkson, 4,900. I feel like he hasn't had that breakout game yet. Lou Williams, we saw what he did to Golden State, as well as Nick Young on fire with these threes. I feel like it's Jordan Clarkson's turn tonight, going up against Brandon Knight, who's not the best of defenders. And yeah, so that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned every single day for new videos. I tried doing a live stream today, and I didn't really know how to do it. So if you guys saw it, it was actually pretty funny, because I was just sitting at my computer, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Because you have to do all the stream stuff, you have to encode it, and listen, I'm not even a technology guy, but I like doing basic stuff like this with the whiteboard, and I like teaching people, and I want to help you guys win some money. Unfortunately, tonight my guys did not live up to my expectations, but as you can see here, in my video I mentioned all these guys. So any guys that I mentioned are worthy of consideration in any lineup. You can take any guys, put them into your lineups, make the lineups, you might walk away with some money. So I don't know if I'll do a live stream tomorrow. I'm trying to work it out. Leave a comment if you appreciate the video. If you like my content, please subscribe, and see you guys later.